views and opinions expressed on the Jim and Zopecast are solely those of the individual stating them and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the Jim and Zopecast. Listener discretion is advised.
Hey, Pittsburgh, you ready?
Loading, Jim and Zopecast.
Here we go, Steelers. Beat 'em, Bucks. Let's go, Pens. Live from Mixler and the pulse of all things Steel City, it's Pittsburgh's favorite podcast, starring Jim and Zope.
He will join us or die, Master.
It's the Jim and Zopecast.
This is Jenna Roboski from J. Lynn Tells All, and you're listening to the Jim and Zopecast.
Welcome, young Skyfall. I have been expecting you.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Okay, hey everybody. I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, we didn't hear a thing.
How are you not hearing any of that?
We didn't hear any of it.
Oh, I'm sorry. It worked for you guys like a second ago, so I don't know why you didn't hear it now.
That's all you.
I've literally been playing them the entire time. Wait, you don't even have headphones on. Maybe that's why you don't hear it.
Oh no, I can hear you. Watch. Talk.
Well, obviously you can
hear you fine.
I get that you're hearing me, but you're not hearing any of the sound effects.
I know.
That's not my fault.
It is your fault. Anyway.
Jim and TR have lightsabers, and they're like playing with them.
Are you ready?
Oh, we're ready.
I don't think you're ready.
We're definitely ready. Well,
This is for YouTube.
Whoops, roof.
okay, and for the radio show, this is the 41st installment of the Jim and Zopecast.
Go ahead and turn that light on there.
And let's get the studio back up.
Let's do it.
And it's all about Force Awakens today.
Oh my gosh.
The one cool thing we ever do on the show, and it gets fucked up.
And the audio doesn't work. I would not have had it any other way.
Dude, I went like this to at least show you guys. I was like, all right, you can start doing it if you wanted to.
Well, if we couldn't hear that, how am I going to hear it? I might not be able to hear anything else you do.
Okay. Well, like I said, I don't know. You heard the rest of it the entire time. Well, how about if you hear my little Jawa?
Nope.
You didn't hear my little Jawa?
Check TeamSpeak.
You're in TeamSpeak. I don't know what else to check.
Is your mic up, on, up, something?
My mic is never on. It's on purpose.
I heard that.
Yep, heard that
Okay,
one.
good.
What'd you change?
I don't know. For some reason, I was muted.
Bingo! Motherfucker, see? I knew. Ruined everything. He did it on purpose. He didn't
It
want
wouldn't
us,
be the Jim and
cool.
Zopecast if it wasn't for technical difficulties.
He didn't want us to look cool. I get it. It's cool. Don't worry about it, man.
That was gonna be so badass.
Don't worry, you look cool for YouTube.
Oh, we would have.
It's cool.
Anyway, okay. Welcome, everybody. This is Chapter 41 of the Jim and Zopecast Special Star Wars Edition. And I am your host, Jim.
I'm Zope.
And with us, as always, TR.
Hello, Internet.
So quiet still.
Yeah, come on.
Hi, Internet!
There, that works.
There's people in their car like, who?
Who? Huh? Huh?
We have an awesome show in store for you guys. It's going to be all about Star Wars: The Force Awakens. If you haven't seen the movie yet, you're going to want to stop listening and then listen a little bit later after you've seen the movie because there's going to be a lot of spoilers. So it's just a heads up. But we are going to be talking about our thoughts on the movie. We're going to do some Star Wars news. We're going to be comparing it to the original 6, or I should say the original 4, and then the prequels.
Sure.
We'll be talking about the big questions that came from the new movie, and we'll be doing our death poll at the end if we have time, which we may not. I don't know if we are.
I think we're jinxing the world of celebrities because it seems like every time I turn on Facebook, somebody died.
And it's never I don't know. I think whoever we put on our list automatically gets like
Stay alive for another week.
it's like holy cow, celebrities dying left and
Well,
right.
like I just turned.
They're listening to our show and they're like, shit, they didn't pick me.
Like I just turned Facebook on and it said the guitarist for the Eagles died, and they're all young, 67, 69. Like they're not old ass people.
Oh yeah, the guy from what was it?
Who was the other one?
Was it No, not Led Zeppelin. Another famous guitarist died.
I don't know. The guy from the Eagles I just saw today. Grizzly Adams. He did have a beard and he did die.
Yeah.
Shame. It's a shame. Anyway, before we do start, as always, remember you can find us all over the internet. iTunes, Stitcher, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, and TuneIn. Search Jim and Zope or Jim and Zope Cast. Or just go over to jimandzope.com and search for media, and you can listen to all of our past shows as well as listen live every Monday at 7 p.m. that we are live.
There's also that pretty sweet bio.
And that pretty sweet bio over there. You want to go read that?
Is it still?
We got a diverse hosting pool we got over here.
Oh my god.
Listen, just because we're happy we got a beet farmer on our show.
You're lucky to have a goddamn beat farmer on your show.
So, Jim, how was your week?
Oh man, not bad, not bad. Obviously don't want to get into what happened yesterday with the Steelers, but other than that,
We're not making a show out of that.
no. Other than that, didn't really do anything. Did we do anything?
Not
It was
really.
disappointing.
Didn't really do anything.
Normal shit.
Disappointing.
Yeah, went out. Yeah, nothing really happened. Bowling and darts. Oh no, we didn't even have
No,
darts.
didn't even have darts, huh?
Bowling and farts.
Bowling and farts, but just bowling.
A lot of Call of Duty.
Oh, I
A lot of
should
Call of Duty going on over here.
I should remind you guys, in 2 weeks I'll be going to Canada, so
You already
Whatever-
said February 1st, right?
yeah, so it's whatever chapter. I guess chapter 44 will be pushed back. I think that's the one. I'm not sure. It's
No, it
43 or
should be
44.
Should be 43 in 2 weeks.
Okay, so we might have to push that one back a week, but
Hopefully we can get a greatest hits episode edited
Yes.
together before then and have something for them to listen to.
I agree.
We did talk about that, right?
Yeah, we'll talk about it later on too in the show. I got that fit in there. But we could start off with our first topic on Star Wars, which is it's for the Force Awakens. It's our initial thoughts on the Force Awakens.
Sure.
And this is just something we're just talking about as we go along. But I did write down a few questions for us that we could go over, a couple topics that are pretty popular right now. And I figured I'd ask you. Jim just saw it most recently with me, and TR hasn't seen it in 4 weeks?
Yeah, I
Something
saw
like that?
it like the second or third day it came out, and I haven't seen
Okay.
it since.
So TR has only seen it once. I've seen it 6 times. Jim has seen it once, but Jim has seen it most recently.
Yeah.
So Jim and TR, what did you guys think of Starkiller Base?
What's that?
Starkiller Base is the new. It's that planet that they turned into a
which is
giant
way
weapon.
bigger than the Death Star.
It's a
Okay.
big Death Star.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Impressive, I would say. I don't think they spent a lot of time on
Impressive.
it, like actually focusing on it as much as they did the Death Star in the original. But yeah, obviously it was impressive.
Yeah, it was a little bit different because originally the plans that were captured were plans for the Death Star, whereas in this movie it wasn't a plan, it was a map of where to get Luke Skywalker. So yeah, you're right. They didn't really talk up Starkiller Base that much like they did in the first one.
No, it's kind of
Or in
like, okay,
episode 4.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they knew how to destroy it.
yeah, now it's gone. Bye.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's reason behind that. Like I said, Finn knew some stuff about it, and they had some intelligence.
Well, he was a
janitor,
garbage man,
yeah.
janitor,
Sanitation.
sanitation, work sanitation.
But I mean,
he knew about the ins and outs of the
They
fucking
tell
big
all
ass
the
ship.
secrets to the janitors.
Well, they have the keys to everything, you know.
I think that's true.
which reminds me, here is this is where actor John Boyega is talking with Harrison Ford.
People are counting on us. The galaxy is counting on us. So we'll figure it out. We'll use the Force. That's not how the Force works. Oh, really? You're cold?
I love that. He's like, we'll use the Force.
Oh, really?
That's
You're
not how
cold?
this works. God, Harrison Ford was so awesome in that movie.
Yeah. Oh, that's a shame. He's great. Great to see him back here.
I'm gonna go through the cast. I do want to hear what you guys think of each cast member. What did you guys think of Harrison Ford? How he did?
Oh, amazing. Yeah. For somebody who was really only, I mean, me growing, like I said, I love the original three, and just seeing him back there was just great. And it didn't seem like he
didn't miss
didn't
a beat.
belong. Like it seemed like he could have been in every movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He didn't miss a beat with that character. I mean, he brought it back perfect.
Yeah.
He brought it back. You could tell that he was aged. At least to me, I could tell he was a little bit aged with just the way he.
No shit.
The way he moved around.
What the fuck?
Well, he was hunched over in like a couple scenes. It was just, but by far he was his acting. It was so awesome to see. He was still my favorite character in this movie. Actually,
Yeah.
it was definitely sad to see him go.
I think he'll be back.
But what'd you think of Mark Hamill? He was there for like a second.
Sadly, before even seeing the movie, I knew what to expect. But it builds it up, you know.
I initially, before going in to see the movie for the first time, I questioned whether or not he went to the dark side. I actually was on one of the people who thought that was what was going on.
I thought
he was going to go to the dark side because it just made sense. But no, he didn't end up going to the dark side. At the end of the movie, they showed him for like a second. He had no lines, and it was hilarious. He tweeted something. Somebody asked him. They're like, so how did you feel when they told you that you weren't going to have any lines during the movie? He said he was speechless.
Nah, I mean, I guess it might be even more powerful if he didn't.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it just was what it was.
Definitely builds suspense for the next one.
Yeah, and like her holding that out, holding the lightsaber out, and you know he's basically looking like Obi-Wan Kenobi now. You know, all old as shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Big hood and everything. I mean, it all comes together. So
Very cyclical.
I think it'll be cool.
It's weird because almost him and Han Solo were Obi-Wan Kenobis in this movie because Han died in the fashion of Obi-Wan, but Luke, I don't know, he definitely looks old though. It's like, dude, his head looks like it's twice as big as it used to be. Like it is so big, but
they are old.
Mad about it.
All those years of voicing Joker and Batman, they get to you.
I was so mad when everybody was like flipping out there, like it was so dumb that they held that lightsaber out for so long. I'm like, you do realize it was like a second past potentially, and it was like actually just two. They're just showing two different shots of the same exact scene. It's not like he stood there for that long, while she was holding the lightsaber out.
I don't know about you, but I honestly was. I was waiting for him to, use the Force and take it from her, and it to go flying through the air into his hand. I thought that would have been fucking awesome.
You never know. That may be how they start. Well,
I thought that would have been awesome.
I've heard from a lot of people that they think that's how the next movie is going to start off with him and her on that planet. But typically with Star Wars, they skip they skip like a year or something between the movies. So I don't know what's going to happen there.
I don't think they can at this point. I think they need to just go with it how it is now. I don't know.
Yeah, the way they left it, it's kind of like a really good picking up point. Like, I don't think any other movie has left it such like a clear cut. We're gonna pick up from here next time.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Were you surprised how easily the girl, I can't remember her name now,
Ray,
picked up the Force?
No, I mean, if she has some of that Skywalker blood in her, or if when we talk a little bit later about her, I don't know. I was surprised, but if there are certain circumstances that would attribute to why she picked it up so fast, if that's the case. Now, if she's just some random freaking Force,
it seemed like Luke couldn't do it for the life of him, and then all of a sudden, it took him a whole movie to figure it out. But she was just really like quick at it, and she even used like the whole. You will unlock me and leave the door open.
I have ideas. I have ideas to why that could potentially be, but yeah, it was apparent that she learned it she seemed to pick things up pretty quick. for somebody who's like, as far as we know, she hasn't really used the Force.
Well, no, I
You know,
don't think. I mean, yeah.
Prior to that, I mean,
What do you think about the new sound effect for when the Force is being used?
what are you talking? That's not a new sound effect. You talking about the?
Yeah, that's a new
That's
sound
not,
effect.
That's not new, man. They've been
it
doing
is.
that whenever they've used the Force in like it will. Okay, I should say. Actually, no. I think it was done in some of the prequels too. Yeah, because anytime when he was pulling down the rocks in the prequels in 2 and 3, whenever they'd yank on stuff and use the Force, you would actually hear it like it sounded like air moving, and that was actually the same sound effects. And they did it in all the games too. If you ever played any of the games, that's the sound effect.
I don't remember it being that pronounced.
I think they made it a little bit more pronounced
it was
in this
more
movie,
pronounced.
especially with Kylo Ren when he was doing
especially when he did it. Yeah.
But what he was doing was also kind of not seen typically when he was like actually trying to get information out of the girl.
Yeah.
But what'd you guys think of Carrie Fisher?
I would have liked to see her more, but I understand that you can't just do that when you got a new movie, new actors, and all that. But she took charge. You knew she was going to be hot shit, so she was. She's general now, so.
Were you mad at all? There's a lot of people getting mad because they say that they toned down Carrie Fisher, that she used to be like, crazy going and doing a lot of stuff, and that she was romantically involved with Han. Whereas in this, we see her more acting like worried about her kids and stuff, which I argue is because she's older and has a freaking kid.
Yeah.
And typically, you see a mother acting like a mother, not a freaking...
Why would anybody even question that?
Oh, there's a lot of questioning it.
That's ridiculous, man. It's a mother and a father trying to get their kid back.
She's not 20-something years old anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect them to sit there like making out and her to be running all over the place. I mean,
she's not the rebellious princess trying to get free from being prisoner.
Exactly.
She's a fucking mother and trying to get her son back from the dark side, and her dad or her Han Solo, whatever, comes back, and they haven't seen each other in how long, and it's like that made no. I didn't even think of questioning that. That's
you'd be surprised.
People are just so.
My question is,
stupid.
why hasn't she learned to use the Force, or has she, and she just hasn't shown it yet?
We don't really know. I mean, that's obviously not something that we know right now, but I mean, we do know that she has the blood, so she can use the Force if she got trained or she tried or whatever.
I don't think she had anybody training her.
She felt when Han died. They showed that. I mean, she felt when Luke was in trouble. So she has the Force in her. I just don't think she ever really goes after it. But
those midichlorians are off the scale, motherfucker.
Off the charts. Let's see. What'd you guys think of Adam Driver? He played Kylo Ren.
That's a porn star, ain't it?
I like.
Oh no, that's
Adam
Steve.
Driver.
Never mind, Steve Driver. That was You ever see the Change Up with Ryan Reynolds and Jason Bateman?
Yep.
Yeah, they do. The guy he plays in the Lorno light porno is Steve Driver. But anyway, back to the Star Wars. So who is this again?
Adam Driver. He plays Kylo Ren. I liked him because he to me came off as a really conflicted character, which is what they were trying to portray. Now I will say that I liked him more and more as I've seen it. Initially, I was a little bit skeptical, but
I think he had way. He was never. I don't think he was fully dark. Especially with the other guy, the whatever the assistant guy that kept talking to
Snoke.
Yeah, well, with the other guy, the guy that was talking to Snoke with him,
like the stormtrooper commander.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was Commander Hux.
Just the way he was undermining him, and it seemed like he was trying to make him look bad, and he was staying quiet and not like. It just seemed like he wasn't like Darth Vader or anything. He
just choke out the bitch.
To me, he just seemed like he was like a young boy.
We're getting a phone call. Hold on.
It might be.
Call from
Todd from Pittsburgh Underground.
Hey,
to accept, press 1.
Hey, what's going on, Todd? Welcome to the show.
Hey, Happy New Year, nerds.
Yeah.
Hey, Happy New Year, buddy.
Hey.
All right.
How y'all doing?
Good, Todd. How you
great,
doing,
man.
buddy?
Just talking some Star Wars.
Oh, so you like it?
Dude, I absolutely love the movie. I mean, we'll go into that some more. I want to know a quick couple questions just so everybody knows where you're coming from with this movie. I am assuming you've seen it. How many times have you seen it?
I only needed to see it once.
Okay.
Well, and the crazy, well, you know what? We didn't like skimp on it. I mean, shit, we went to go see it in IMAX, in 3D, obviously. It was the longest I've actually had to sit around and wait to get into a movie in a really long time. I mean, we got there like 1:30. Things started at 4, and there was already a line forming, so we just stood in line.
2.5 hours early. That's how early you got there.
What's that?
You got there 2.5 hours early?
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
cow. You got me beat from... The earliest I ever got was episode 3. I stood in line 2 hours and like 5 minutes early.
I can't remember the last time I sat in line for a movie that long, man.
Me and Bobby got there, 5 minutes early?
Well, we had reserved seating for
Yeah.
Me and Jim went and saw it about what was it, a week ago? Not even
Saturday.
It was
Oh yeah, Saturday.
2 days ago.
You've seen it 6 times. You see it opening day?
Yeah, no, I actually saw it the day after opening day. I wanted to get reserved seats, and I was pounding the freaking website as soon as they went on sale, and I just couldn't get them fast enough.
How are the crowds from like the first time you saw it to the 6th time you saw it?
It's went down. It's dwindled. I think when me and Jim went, the theater probably only filled up to roughly 60%, whereas even like a week and a half ago, it was still 100%.
That first when we went in, literally from the time we got in about 3:30 to the time it started, people were pouring into the theater, and it never stopped. I mean, from the time the credits started rolling, it was crazy.
Yeah, there wasn't really a lot there. I mean, we also went at 11:45 in the morning. I mean, I expect it was pretty much what I expected on this far into the release and being that early in the morning. But who knows, if we would have went at nighttime, might have been a lot more people. I don't know.
TR, did you go with not TR? Todd, did you go with everybody else from Pittsburgh Underground?
Yeah. Carl was with me. Lee was with me. We had purchased tickets. He had actually got them ahead of time, which really, again, usually we get the reserved seating, but you couldn't do it for IMAX, which is the only reason why we had to wait around for as long as.
I got to ask you now. I noticed this because I went and saw it in IMAX as well, IMAX 3D, and then I saw it on XD 3D, and
wow.
I noticed when I went to go see it at the IMAX. Now I just want to know if this was only where I went to go see it, but I went and saw it at the Mills, and I thought the 3D was kind of like it was a little bit messed up. Like there were a couple scenes where I could notice stuff in the background wasn't clear. It was actually like the 3D wasn't done correctly.
You see, I had a different problem. My issue was by the time I went there around 4 o'clock, they're handing out glasses with nerd crap all over them. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I must have gone through like 5 pairs of glasses before I finally found one that didn't have shit all over them. You know what I mean? This is over at the waterfront. You know what I mean? And I'm like, give me a break. I mean, for as much money as you're paying to go see this, the last thing I need is like nerd juice all over my specs.
We might as well ask you. We're going through right now the cast, and Jim and TR are playing with lightsabers right now. We're going through some of the cast right now. What did you think of Adam Driver? Since he's a lot of people are on different sides. Of him.
If he really, I really honestly, I've never seen him in anything before. This is my first experience with him, and I'll be honest, he really did look like he could have been the son of Han and Leia.
Yeah, I saw that too. I saw that too.
Yeah, absolutely. And him, going to the dark side, quite frankly, really wasn't that much of a stretch. I mean, think about it. Both his parents had tempers like you wouldn't believe. You know what I mean? They were always pissing and moaning and fighting with each other. So him going to the dark side, I didn't think was a very far walk.
No, it's kind of like 2 bad parents who are like drug addicts and their kid ends up in jail. It's kind of the same thing, except not in space.
Yeah.
You expect him? You really expect him to be a millionaire? No, he was raised by some fucked up people.
I was a little iffy on him because I knew him. I did know him from like different shows and stuff. It was just a little bit weird for me to see him in this role.
What was
but
he in?
as I've been
What was he
watching
in?
it, he was in the show Girls on HBO. He was in a few other things, but whatever. I've seen a lot of stuff. But anyways, I just at first I didn't know how I felt, but after seeing it so many times, I actually start to like him more and more. And I mean, I always liked dark side characters anyway, so I really like him.
Yeah, I thought he did a great job. Definitely followed in the footsteps of his grandfather. I mean, he kind of had that, especially when he would go and have those temper tantrums. Those were the best. I laughed my ass off when he started wigging out.
Yeah, he's like a little bitch.
Oh, dude, I love that. Well, you know what? If you look at every single Skywalker, they all acted like that at some.
They did.
They're all little bitches.
No, they all.
Well, I agree. I mean, that was my biggest gripe with the original story for Anakin. I thought they made him to be kind of a bratty little douche, and it's like, I don't know. I was kind of hoping that he would have been sort of duped into it a little more tragic, and I guess it kind of was. But he was such a baby about it. Ugh.
You're not doing what I like.
I'll skip. I'm only going to go over the major characters. So, what would you guys think of Daisy Ridley as Rey?
I'm gonna fuck her so hard.
How the hell can you not be in love with her? Like, all of America is in love with this girl, and rightfully so. She is flipping awesome.
I agree. I absolutely loved her. I thought she was awesome. And actually, considering George Lucas, I did see, I mean, I'm sure you've seen that too, where there were plans originally to make Luke a girl. So I think it worked out pretty well. Like, I was actually a little bit skeptical. I was like, I don't know. I'm like, this is a movie that's supposed to be for guys. I mean, typically, that's how Star Wars universe is. I'm not saying girls wouldn't like it. I'm just saying it's usually aimed for guys. But it worked out great having her, I mean, as Rey. I think she's going to be an awesome character, and I'm looking forward to seeing her progression.
Absolutely about time they start having a female-centric character, within this universe. I mean, Leia was great and everything, but, a lot of people kind of saw her as, or at least originally as a damsel in distress. And Rey is no damsel in distress, man. And awesome. I just heard that they are putting out a bunch of new figures and stuff for her now.
Really?
I guess they heard the cries. Everybody wants their Rey action figure.
I'm a little bit surprised they didn't do that right away, to be honest.
Well, don't be too surprised. You know what? When there was an employee with the Walt Disney Company that after she left, pretty much let the cat out of the bag that they bought Marvel and Star Wars for the male demographic, because they already have the girl demographic with all their princess cartoons and stuff. So, but I don't think, I mean, that might have been the beginning of it all. That might have been their original reasoning, but they got to realize, that's just not the world we live in anymore, man. I mean, girls want, the strong characters that they can really look up to, and we should be, a little bit more evolved at this point in the world. We should be actually getting that kind of thing in movies.
Until they got to open a jar in the kitchen.
Yeah. Fuck feminists.
I
just fucking around.
Yeah, she's definitely one of my favorite characters in this movie. I liked her. I mean, like I said, I loved Harrison Ford a lot. He's probably my favorite in the movie, but Daisy Ridley is right alongside with him.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of John Boyega?
I love that dude. Do you ever see? I remember him from Attack the Block.
I have not seen him in anything prior to this, so this was my first.
Bitch in the whole movie.
Check out Attack the Block. That was one that he did with old Frost. From Simon Pegg's buddy. Really fun alien kind of monster movie, and there's a little bit of comedy in it. Really cool flick, and it kind of made me laugh. I don't know if any of you guys watch Red Dwarf.
No.
There's a character called Lister who is pretty much he's the last human alive. Was put in stasis because he actually brought his he purposely brought a cat on board this derelict spaceship. He's put into cryostasis, and when he wakes up, again, he's the only one alive, and he just happened to be the pretty much the lowest ranking crew member on the ship. I think he was in charge of fixing vending machines. I'm looking at Boyega, and I'm like, my God, he's fucking Lister.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to check that. I liked him. I actually thought he was probably the most down to earth character for somebody that you could probably look at and more or less see. Okay, he's kind of a regular guy for the most part. I mean, I don't know if something in the future he's not going to be, but I mean he portrayed himself that way. I actually see him as almost the Han of this movie. Just because, I mean, so far he hasn't shown anything that he could potentially have the Force. I mean, I get it. He picked up a lightsaber, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But I look at him as the most relatable character so far. I mean, he kind of made some stuff up to try to hurry up and get himself out of trouble.
Is that because you're a little bitch?
I don't. Okay.
Where do you see the next film coming? Like, where do you see the roles being played? Do you think him and Rey are going to be like the Han and Luke kind of roles, or what? Like, what do you see him doing?
I can see those two hooking up. You know,
I don't think they'll hook up. I think it's going to go the way of the original, where we'll see like it's kind of like how Luke and Leia first saw each other, and they were like, I think the Force brought them together. That's the only reason why. And like I said, I wanted to kind of go into this a little bit later. I think that the Force is kind of bringing them together right now, but I don't think they're actually going to become together. Obviously, we know Jedi aren't supposed to get with other people. I mean, Anakin did it, but
do you think they'll become brother? Do you think they'll turn out to be brother and sister?
What's that?
Are they going to turn out to be brother and sister? Or?
No, actually, I would not be half surprised if Rey and Kylo Ren do. I think it almost feels a little too obvious to me.
That's a big theory right now that's out there, but I don't know. I'm still more questioning.
Let me ask you this then. Okay,
right? Dad or cousins.
Well, right at the end, all right. As soon as Rey makes her way, in front of Princess Leia, and Chewie gets off the boat and everything. Chewie and her kind of bump shoulders, which is a little weird. I mean, you'd think that they would be all like, "Oh my God, I killed the love of my life and your best friend." Instead, she makes a beeline right to Rey, this girl she's never met. Come on, that doesn't kind of, speak to you a little bit.
Well, once again, they too have the Force, and the Force brings people with the Force together. I mean, it could. I have this weird theory that Rey could be another virgin birth, but like I said, that's like kind of like a later on thing.
Well, in that clip, whenever she was getting pulled away, who was pulling her away?
That was the guy who was always giving her the portions.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you caught that or not, Todd.
No, I don't.
That was the one question I had. I remember the flashback, and she was looking at the ship flying away, and then she was getting pulled away by a guy, and then I didn't know who that guy was.
Yeah.
During that flashback, after seeing it multiple times, I kept on like trying to pay attention to that voice, and that voice dead on matches the guy that was always giving her the portions. So I'm pretty much 100% certain that that's the guy. I don't know how that actually comes into play for this.
That's what I mean. Like it didn't.
It's weird, but once again, we'll probably find out more. When
that was I guess of the questions I had about her, it's who did they leave her with? Because you don't really see her with anybody on that planet.
Exactly, but then she still wanted to keep going back to the Jakku, and it's like.
She wanted to go back to Jakku because she was told that her parents were going to come back, so she kept on wanting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so she was holding out hope that her parents were going to come back, and then there was a reference to Luke when that was happening with Maz, but I'm not tying those together. I don't know. I think that's thrown out to mess with us.
Yeah, possibly.
It just seemed like when all this shit's going on, she's still like, "Oh, I got to get back to Jakku," and everybody's like, "What?" All this other shit.
They're like, honey.
All this other shit's going on. Let that. You don't got to get back there. Let it go. It's a garbage planet.
I had a few minor gripes with this movie, but I will say this: do we really need another fucking desert planet? I mean, Jesus Christ! Don't you think Tatooine's enough? Like, that was one thing. The whole time I'm like, why do I need another freaking? That'd be like having another Hoth. Like, who the hell cares, dude? It's like, the universe isn't big enough for 2 desert planets, man.
I don't really. I'm hoping that that's somehow tied into some of the other. I don't know. I hope there's something
I feel like that's going to be a parallel to tie her to Luke's story and kind of just run that parallel the whole way through.
Well, okay. Does everybody know why they were at Jakku, or what was going on in Jakku prior to the movie?
You know what? The only way I think you might even be able to get an idea. I don't know. Do any of you played Star Wars Battlefront? Because I know that's one of the.
I do. I play that.
All right. Well, that's one of the maps, isn't it? Is Jakku, but it's before of course, all the events. How many years is that supposed to be before the events of this movie?
Yeah, there was a war that went on there. That's why we see that downed Imperial destroyer. That's why there is a downed AT-AT walker. There was a war that went on there. I don't know exactly why they designed the planet to be a desert. I mean, I guess they wanted to give you that feel of Tatooine again, being a deserted place.
I'm going to say this much, man. Honestly, I mean, the movie was good, but J.J. Abrams was kind of like the cover band doing, episode 5. He really was, dude. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, how many beats do we have to hit before unless you've never seen the movie, you know what I mean, then it's like a brand new thing for you. But I mean, for everybody who's seen it a million times, I'm like, wait a minute, desert planet just like Tatooine, you got, basically Han Solo's the Obi-Wan character,
Well, I think that was done on purpose. I mean, I think it was done on purpose. I don't think episode 8 and 9 are going to go along that same route. I think they're going to be,
I hope. I mean, I know why they did what they did. I mean, let's face it, Disney did not spend the amount of money they spent to acquire this property and it not to go, like, absolutely 100%, in the best possible way for them. So I'm sure they had a lot of hand in what was going on, and what was going to be written for that.
Well, I mean, they came out straight and said that this new trilogy is going to mirror the original trilogy, and that the Star Wars universe is cyclical in nature. They came out and said that.
Well, there you go.
That's true. We got to get to some of these other topics.
I want you to forget the other fucking 3.
What did you guys think of BB-8, the new droid?
Well, it wouldn't have been. The movie couldn't have ended without him and R2 coming together. So I like him because of that. I mean, it was cool. I like the character. I mean,
I like R2 better.
I like R2 a lot better, but BB was all right.
Dude, R2 had droid depression.
Like, he was all fucked up. Yeah. He was in the background, mainlining shit. Just, get away, get out of my room. Let me leave it
Mom, get out!
That plucky little droid, like, he had been through everything, and there he is. Like, they knocked the fight out of him, man. It's like, I just have these images of him and Marvin the Paranoid Android at the same cantina, like, wallowing in misery.
He was all covered up and shit.
I hope we see more R2, but I think we're going to just see a lot more BB-8. But I like BB-8 to a point, but I also think that they, specifically Disney, was like, we want the droid to be aimed more at kids. Because they the sound that he makes, his motor sounds like a cat purring. I mean, there is nothing about that character that isn't cute.
You know what? It's a great design. I just got back from the Consumer Electronics Show out in Vegas, and I met up with the guys, Sphero, that actually developed the full-scale model and also the replica toys. And I'll tell you what, that toy is awesome. I mean, my God, the one that actually, you control with your phone. Really, really spot on awesome. Really cool.
My nephew has that Sphero, and it is really cool. I almost wish they'd make like a real big one. Like, I would love to have like a real big version of that.
Absolutely. I think it'd be a great idea.
Let's see. What did you guys think of Han's death? How it actually went?
I saw it coming.
There was absolutely
as soon as the sun went down,
no question whatsoever. But
yeah, very obvious. Very hard to watch.
It was hard. I didn't want to, even though I knew. As soon as you started crossing that bridge, like, okay.
That's one of those situations where everyone's like, "No, don't do it! Don't do it!
Don't go in the door!"
Yeah, there's two characters. There's two characters isolated on a bridge in a Star Wars movie. One of them's going to die,
and it's not the young the young actor that will be in the next three. It's the old ass guy.
It's not the new one. It's the old one.
Well, I mean, I did see it coming as well. I mean, I started getting like the chills about it. I thought it was really well done, at least the way that as soon as the sun was getting siphoned out and it lost all its power, all it showed was half red, like 'cause it was so dark, and you could just see Kylo Ren, his face, half red.
Yeah, it changed instantly.
Which-
I really liked how that was shot.
Yeah, I mean, it was like you've seen that before in many scenes. We've seen it with Luke with the blue, and we've seen it with Vader, with the red.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of cool seeing that happen.
Yeah, I really liked how that was shot.
When he
I'll tell you what, the biggest question that came out of that, and I'm telling you, after we were done with the movie, from that point on till about maybe 2 in the morning that day, it was the great debate as to, now we know why it had to happen. We knew that it needed to happen. We had to hate him, but is there a point where when you do something like this where it's considered irredeemable? I mean, is this an irredeemable character?
No.
You don't think so?
Really?
No, I
don't want to ever.
He killed his father, but I mean, it's not in the Star Wars universe. That's not irredeemable.
That shit happens all the time.
Yeah, but it's different when you kill your dad, who is not a bad guy. Like,
let's face it, Vader did a lot of really messed up things, but we didn't know any of those people, and he eventually came back because of the love of his son. The problem with this one is that Kylo Ren, hey, let's face it, we went on a lot of awesome adventures with Han Solo. He was a pal. We knew this dude, and this little shit did him in, man. I don't give a fuck. As far as I'm concerned, Kylo Ren has turned me to the fucking dark side, and I'd waste that little prick's ass today if I had a chance.
Do you find it ironic that Han Solo died doing like the only unselfish thing he's ever done?
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely. Talk about it kicking the nuts.
Well,
Holy
that's how
no.
you have to do it in the movies,
Well, I get
to be
why
a hero, but you're fucked.
Totally understandable. but that's the thing. I mean, this kid, I don't know if I don't know if he can be redeemed, quite frankly. I mean, think about this. The whole time I'm wondering, now, that growing up, that Kylo Ren had the coolest freaking pet. He had Chewbacca, the freaking Wookiee, as his pal. I mean, he had to have an awesome childhood, and this is what happens? I'm thinking, you're a little asshole. I don't know, man. I don't know if he can be redeemed. I have my suspicions. I don't know.
I want to ask you guys, what did you think of the new Stormtroopers?
Oh, I liked it. Nice design.
Well, I meant, less the armor, more that they are now from birth, basically kids that are, just captured and brainwashed from birth.
It's a very specific parallel to how the Jedis were raised.
Huh?
Yeah, good point.
That's how Jedis are typically raised, other than the Skywalker line.
Well, this is more like they're still stormtroopers in the fact that they're brainwashed, but instead of being just clones over and over again, which obviously made them half retarded because 4, 5, and 6 they're like terrible at everything.
Think about the progression here. We went from droids that could be easily turned against them and controlled to clones. I mean, obviously that didn't work out. You know what I mean? And they were all weren't they all clones of Jango Fett?
Yeah, well, that's why I think. Well, I think the cloning process just over and over again, turned them. They just started to become really bad at what they do, and then obviously we see that
like English people.
Well, and
like the monarchy, complete and utter inbreeding.
But I think that we see now with these new stormtroopers, and that was the whole point with Finn, is that now there's that chance of them having free will, they can potentially, and I think Kylo Ren touched on that with General Hux when he was saying maybe we should go back to clones, just because now they don't know if they can even trust these stormtroopers, but given their Nazi moment, I don't know, maybe they can trust them.
How more like close can you get to Nazism than that fucking scene? That was crazy.
Well, actually, it's I would say the Nazism is almost more in lieu of the clones, where these are actually, in a weird, creepy way, are almost like Al-Qaeda. If you think about it, I mean, that's what they do. They take young kids and they brainwash them to do these horrible, evil acts.
Please don't
Yeah.
compare those because I like the dark side. I like this First Order. I don't want to think of it as.
Well, that's what Nazis did
Oh,
too.
you want a fuzzy dark side.
Al Qaeda's not the first one to do that. Nazis
I like
did that too.
I like
You want a
Empire.
warm and
I don't know.
cuddly dark side.
I want to say
We
real
have
quick.
cookies.
I do not like General Hux was probably one of my least favorite characters. I thought that the character or the actor playing him was too young, and it was weird. 6 times over, and I still do not like. I don't like the guy who plays General Hux.
I get that. Yeah, I actually, the one that I think everyone wanted to see was the chick from Game of Thrones. I'm sorry, I can't remember her character.
Gwendolyn Christie.
What's that?
Gwendolyn Christie, who played Captain Phasma.
I absolutely loved her. I really hope to see more of her, and I want to see more of a dynamic between her and Finn. I hope she kind of hunts him down. I mean, I think that's what she's going to be, almost in a sense like the Boba Fett to his Han Solo.
I questioned a love interest between those two, but I thought Gwendolyn Christie. I wasn't a huge fan of her voice for that because she didn't seem too assertive to me. But I do like Gwendolyn Christie. I mean, I love Game of Thrones, and I love her character in that. So I think they need to do something different with her voice. I think they need to. I think they just need to make her a little bit more demanding or something.
So maybe they can get James Earl Jones to do it for her.
Yeah, they could have had a voiceover, but I mean,
That's hilarious.
Where do you guys rank The Force Awakens in the Star Wars universe? And I'll give you my ranking, and you can bash on it all you want.
This is a ranking like what, 1 to whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or do you want to do it in order of actual, like, what we think, best of I guess we call it, what, best of 7 here?
Yeah, it would be best to worst. Like, my favorite is Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back. I would say after that is Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. Then I go back to Episode 4, and then I put this right after The Force Awakens. Now, I want to say that there are reasons, like there are some ways that I actually like this movie more than Episode 4, but it's real hard for me to ever say that I'm going to like this more than the old series. But yeah, I put Episode 7 after that, and then the prequels are all after that. It's just 3, 2, 1 with the prequels.
What?
I would have to put the prequels all last. Like, they just suck, all of them.
Well,
I love Phantom Menace. That was the greatest movie ever.
I don't even, that's a hard one to rank the first 3, man, because it's like, the first one was just magic, absolute fucking magic. The second one, I will say this, as a kid watching that for the first time and not understanding that we were getting a third movie, I was like screaming, like, wow, like how could they end it that way? And let's face it, the third one had the gold bikini, so sorry.
I'm definitely a 1-3-2 guy.
Yeah, what's that?
I'm a 1-3-2 guy.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay.
When you say 1-3-2, you mean you're talking about?
Oh, I didn't watch any of the prequels, so.
He's talking about New Hope.
I'm old
Return.
school, yeah.
So 4, 6, 5. So you actually think Empire Strikes Back was your least favorite?
I like Jedi. I like Jedi.
Return of the Jedi is probably my favorite one of the original. Actually, overall.
What was your favorite one?
I think what's funny, as a kid, Empire was my least, but as an adult, I got to say it was the one that really tied everything together. And I don't know if I can. That's a hard thing to rank. I don't even know if I'm prepared to do that, man. I mean, all I can say is I love obviously the original 3. That's more, over anything. And you know what? These I think will stand on their own. I mean, so far so good. You know what I mean? It's so funny because anybody I talk to who's ever really bothered to look at the prequels, most times they either have vehemently hate them, or they lump them into one movie. Like, I'll be honest, when I think of them almost as one movie, one big long crappy movie.
Yeah. What's up, Jim?
We're gonna do our first news article, Todd. If you want to stay on and listen, it is Star Wars related. So
I was just gonna skip the news, but
I want to do one because it is Star Wars related. So I want to actually do this.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on.
Guess who's too ugly for YouTube? And
I have to play TR's news intro.
It's time for TR with the news.
TR, what do you got?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm doing this one just because, like, it is Star Wars related, and it's also, like, some of the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life. The title of the article is Star Wars is Racist.
So why do they why do they say Star Wars is racist?
I got a few snippets. Finn, for example, the article says that his life story mimics that of a slave.
What?
I gotta ask you.
This is all here. I'm looking at
Actually,
it.
he was.
Where is this article coming from? First of all, like, what genius wrote this?
It's from some website called thestreet.com.
Oh, gee, okay. Well, then we know it.
It's on the internet.
I saw it and I couldn't pass it up.
Well, I mean, how else is he going to be a stormtrooper with that? I mean, whatever. Go ahead. What else?
It goes on to, like, explain how he doesn't really have a name until the white character Poe gives him his name.
Holy cow, man!
Boy.
They're
reaching there, man.
Yeah.
Poe Dameron had like the least. He had like such a boring. I actually got to say, Poe Dameron had probably one of the most boring storylines. I get it that they're building him up for his own story, but overall, I wasn't like. I didn't walk out of there like, yeah, Poe Dameron was awesome.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, you're not going to run out to Target to get your Poe Dameron
action.
No, I don't.
I got my Poe Dameron poster up tonight.
Yeah, but listen, this is a quote from this article. Finn and Rey didn't even get to kiss. Romance tends to be at the center of an African American hero film. I bet if Rey and Finn were both Caucasian, there would have been a lip lock at the end of the film.
Hey, man, who knows? She might be into the Wookiee love now that she's, like, running the Falcon.
They always avoided that stuff in all the Star Wars movies, except for Episode 2. They typically avoid romance, which is probably the best thing that they ever do in Star Wars movies. It's why Episode 2 is so freaking weird for everybody in the audience.
Yeah, and then this article goes on to say that Disney has a history of producing racism films, which is why all Star Wars movies have underlying themes of racism. But this is the first Disney Star Wars film.
Yeah, I don't know. I would ignore all
You know
of that.
what? Yeah, this article sounds like they're just spreading hate speech, man.
Oh yeah, that's why I saw it. And I was like,
it was
oh my
it was
God,
that
it's so
much
stupid.
it was that much idiocy that I told him, read this fucking shit, dude.
I want.
God, do you remember when The Lion King came out? They were pissing and whining because, oh, gee, the only black people that were in or black actors that were in it were all played hyenas or something stupid. It was like, are you freaking kidding?
Well, that's not true because James Earl Jones played from Mufasa.
Mufasa.
I know.
I mean, that's just... And it wasn't even Cheech Marin named black, dude. He played a fucking hyena. I love... I'm sorry, but Lion King is one of my favorite fucking movies of all time. Whoopi Goldberg was a hyena, but so was Cheech Marin. So there's no racism there. They're Mexican and black. I ain't the same.
That's a very good movie.
I want to ask you guys. This is a big thing that's going on right now. Everybody's talking about Commander Snoke. What do you guys think of Snoke? Who do you guys think he is? I personally am of the idea that he might be Darth Plagueis.
That's who I was hoping he'd be.
I'm not only thinking, but I'm hoping that that is who it is, because it would be so cool to see this just come all the way back from Palpatine's old master to see that full arc. I think it would be so awesome because technically he would be the father of the Skywalkers.
He would be the first evil, which I really dig. The thing that inspired the Emperor to inspire Vader. You know what I mean? That would be awesome. That would be a great idea. And if I'm not mistaken, the lore of him, wasn't there a thing where when he died, his if you want to call it Force spirit or Force ghost, actually split apart, and there was a good version of him and an evil version of him.
You talking about Snoke?
No, Darth Plagueis.
Oh yeah, Darth Plagueis. Well, I'm not sure if that's considered expanded universe, and it's no longer because remember, a lot of his story, a lot of that stuff is no longer canon. So now they're building this new story behind everything, which is why, I mean, I don't know. I like the idea of it being Snoke just because Snoke, or I'm sorry, Plagueis, just because we're told that Plagueis can bring people back from the dead, but we also, I mean, it's almost a positive, 100% positive that we know that he created Anakin Skywalker. Shmi Skywalker was impregnated by him, which would technically mean that Anakin Skywalker was his son, and it could lend credence to Rey not being a direct relation to Luke, but instead just being created once again by Plagueis as another virgin birth, which would explain why she's unbelievably powerful too, right off the bat.
I was unaware that he was responsible for Anakin, the mother, becoming pregnant.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, guys, I'm sorry.
I read it in some official place. I can't exactly name it right now, but I can look it up later on and send it to you guys. But yeah, basically the whole idea was that whenever Shmi Skywalker, she said that she bore him, bred him, and that was it. She basically had Anakin Skywalker, but there was no father. And the whole idea was that she was actually impregnated by Palpatine's old master, because he was able to create something from the Force. He was able to create life, and that's why they talked about it.
That's almost like the Greek gods, like with Zeus. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it would be really cool if that's why we end up seeing Plagueis now in this new series.
Kind of like a biblical parallel too.
It is. It's a very biblical parallel.
I think it's Thanos.
Dude.
I was kind of hoping
they're just gonna completely cross,
just bring everybody in, dude.
Fucking Thor's gonna show up.
Everybody's gonna go crazy, dude.
He's gonna slam some shit down on Kylo Ren.
Iron Man's gonna show up. Oh, you got a lightsaber? I got this. But
what do you guys think about the lineage of Rey, though? Do you think that there's a chance she could be a virgin birth, or do you have a better idea of what you think?
I don't think they'll make it simple. I don't think they're going to make it simple. It's going to be...
It's either going to be Han or Luke's.
I think that, what they've been cherry-picking from the old lore, the old expanded universe, I sincerely think it's they're twins. I really do. I think that's going to, and I think when, there are just little things, like I said, like that whole incident with her and Leia, even when that ground opened up between her and Kylo Ren, when you find out they're brother and sister, that moment is going to have so much more, gravitas to it. I don't know. I just have that feeling. I
think they're connected. I agree with that.
I
do.
Knowing J.J. Abrams, he just constantly does, dude, I mean, look at everything else that he does. It's always like, oh, this is exactly what we think is going to happen. And then J.J. Abrams throws some kind of ridiculous wrench in where everybody's actually dead, and it's a freaking, they're all in heaven or something.
He's not involved in the next couple movies. He's done. This was it.
Well, I heard, though, that the writing for all of them that has, for the most part, been, I guess, they have an idea of where they're going all the way through. But, yeah, I guess he isn't doing the next two, but...
Well, you got to remember, too, think about this. Twins run in the Skywalker lineage.
Yeah.
So the chances of them not being brother and sister, I think, are pretty slim. I mean, I could be, again, hey, we might come back to this, a couple years from now, and I'll be completely wrong, but something tells me that's what it's going to be. I don't know.
Yeah, you're probably right. Like I said, I have this like big hope that it's going to be that Snoke is going to be Plagueis and that he created her and she's going to be this all powerful, Jedi or Sith or whatever she ends up actually being. As long as she's all powerful, but I do want to see a superpower Sith, and I'm hoping that we get that next movie.
Do you think Smoke is actually a living entity, or do you think he is again, a Force ghost? I mean, if he's a living entity, I'd kind of like to see him be like about the size of Yoda. I think an evil Yoda would be awesome.
Well, if he's Plagueis, he's going to be one of those Muns, so he should be pretty tall. But if he's dead, I actually didn't consider that before, but that kind of is interesting. I mean, they kind of showed him like a blue glowy, but I think it was more of a hologram. Like they actually showed Palpatine in the exact same style hologram in Episode 4. Or actually, I could be wrong. That could be Episode 5. But if you go back and watch it, you could see Palpatine in almost an exact same style. But I don't know. I'm thinking he's a real entity. We are about to end this show.
Start wrapping it up here.
Todd, we appreciate you being on. Do you want to tell everybody where they can find you?
Yeah, everybody, you can check us out on www.puzine.com. That's Puzine. We regularly air, the repeats of the Jim and Zope cast. So check us out. We've been kind of on hiatus because, of the holidays, but we will be coming back here within the next week, so check us out. We're always around.
All right,
Awesome,
appreciate you
Todd.
calling in, buddy. I'm sad I don't get to
All
see
right.
you and chat with you every day anymore, but appreciate keeping
Yeah,
the contact.
You know where I'm at, man. Drop by next time you're around.
Yeah, man, I got your number, and I'm going to keep in touch, buddy.
Awesome, dude. All right, guys. Thanks
All
for
right.
having me on, and I'll talk to you all later.
All right, Tom.
Thanks,
see ya.
man. Thanks, everybody, for joining us.
All right, see you guys.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night.